Good morning, and welcome to Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church, in-person and online worship. I'm Anna Noyes-Benoit, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a member of the worship committee. Our mission calls for us to celebrate diversity, encourage spiritual growth, and promote social responsibility as we travel and care for the earth. Each month, Allen Avenue supports a nonprofit organization whose mission aligns with our Unitarian Universalist principles. The Share the Plate recipient for June is the Presumpscot Regional Land Trust. Presumpscot Regional Land Trust engages with communities to conserve, steward, and provide access to local lands and clean water for current and future generations to enjoy. They are the water stewards of the Presumpscot River watershed, and they coordinate the Sebago to the Sea Trail, a 28-mile trail from Standish to Portland. To learn more about this organization, please go to the website linked on our order of service today. For those of you at home, if you are attending for the first time, please go to our website and fill out the welcome card so that we can know more about you. This morning's service is presented by Allen Avenue's Worship Committee. Lay-led worship is a tradition at this and many other Unitarian Universalist societies. At Allen Avenue, the Worship Committee either sponsors or presents one such service a month. We are so glad you have joined us. After the service, please join us for coffee and conversation outside. Now we will center our hearts and minds with the ringing of the bell.
Good morning. I am Rick Kimball, a member of the Worship Committee charged with introducing the service. Carpe diem, said Horace, the poet of ancient times. Seize the day. Well, I am a bit ancient myself, but I do not run around seizing things. My name is not Putin. But I am able to Google the day, and I find that today, June 19th, has many identities. Perhaps most importantly, it is Juneteenth and celebrates the emancipation of African American slaves on the same day in 1865. It is also Father's Day, and Family Awareness Day, and Garfield the Cat Day, National Dry Martini Day, National Eat an Oreo Day, National Pets in Film Day, National Watch Day, Turkey Lovers Day, and close to the summer solstice day. And June 19th does not stand alone. It's just 1/30th of a month filled with all sorts of special things like graduations and weddings and births and deaths and, yes, the coming of summer warmth. All these things tied loosely together in the web of all existence. Here at A2U2, June 19 of 2022 is also the day that ends the full program part of our church year. That church year does keep going 52 weeks a year thanks to summer services and other programs. But we do slow down a bit in the warm weather. Thankfully so this time around, for the last 9 months have not been easy for the church or for many of the individuals in it. We can use some gentle breathing time. Well, with all these different meanings assigned to the date, the worship committee has been forced to make some choices and focus on just a few of the day's identities. we dismiss the idea of passing out Oreos to dip into dry martinis. But we will honor the day's proximity to the summer solstice with adapted pagan opening and closing rituals. We will recognize Juneteenth with a series of quotations from several different thinkers. Father's Day gets a nod, and we give special attention to our annual flower communion, a ritual we have traditionally used to usher in our summer season. Consolidating all this is a bit of a challenge, but the choir's anthem will help pull things together as it sings of the holy ground on which all of us walk together. Think of web again, a web of June, a creation of many different but related parts that join in a meaningful, supportive whole. We move on now. We bounce along on our web, first with an invitation to attend in person or by Zoom the summer services beginning next week, and now with today's chalice lighting.
As we light this chalice, may we enter a time of remembrance for all that we are grateful for. Let us celebrate the warmth of June with flowers. Let us celebrate memories of our fathers, to include those who are and have been father figures in our lives. Let us celebrate and recognize the often forgotten holiday of Juneteenth, the spirit of which is reflected by our A2U principles. And finally, let us celebrate and recognize the turning of the pagan wheel of the year, and we light this chalice in recognition of the pagan holiday of Litha, most often recognized as summer solstice, which brings to us the element of fire. I ask for help for my directions here. East, air. Spirit of East, element of air, come join us. May you gently flow through us to sound out songs of love. Bring us the cooling breeze of summer winds. Come join us now. South, fire. Spirit of South, element of fire, come join us. May you bring the flame of life to our hearts and souls. Bring us warmth, passion, and love, and the playfulness of summer. Come, join us now. West, water. Spirit of West, element of water, come, join us. We welcome your wellspring of life flowing through our veins. Refresh us in your lakes and oceans. Come, join us now. North, earth. Spirit of North, element of earth, come, join us. Wrap us in your greenery and ground us in your fertile soil. Feed us with your harvest from our gardens. Come, join us now. Thank you. And if you will rise as you are willing and able to sing our first opening hymn, number 357, Bright Morning Stars. We are singing verses 1, 4, and 5.
It's a tradition at Allen Avenue UU Church and many other UU churches to hold the flower ceremony each year before we move to summer services. But before we have the ceremony, let's remember the story of Norbert Chopek, who created the ceremony, and his wife Maya, who brought it to the United States. Norbert was born on June 3, 1870, in Czechoslovakia, and even as a boy, he was very interested in religion. At age 10, he became an acolyte at St. Martin's Church, but he eventually became disillusioned when he realized the priest was a cynic. At age 18, Norbert became an apprentice to his uncle, a successful tailor in Vienna. While there, Norbert discovered the Baptists and became a minister. He founded almost a dozen churches from Ukraine to Budapest. Yet, slowly, his faith was becoming more and more liberal. He left Bohemia under government threat and accepted a call to serve a Baptist church in New York City. After a year in Manhattan, he moved to a larger congregation in New Jersey. But in 1919, he left the ministry for reasons he described as social, financial, national, political, personal. In his diary, he concluded, quote, "I cannot be a Baptist anymore, even in compromise. The fire of new desires, new worlds is burning inside me," end quote. Norbert and his wife Maya joined the Unitarian Church in Orange, New Jersey in January 1921, for the same reason many of you did. Their children liked the religious education program. Then when World War I ended, Norbert and Maya returned home to Czechoslovakia. There, with the help of their daughter Bodana and her husband, Karl Haspel, they built a nationwide religious movement. In just 20 years, the Unitarian Church in Prague, with 3,200 members, was the largest Unitarian congregation in the world. As part of the church, Norbert wanted something like a communion, but he knew the traditional Christian communion of bread and wine wouldn't meet the needs of his congregation, because his church, like ours, had people who believed different things. Instead, he turned to the beauty of the countryside, to the beauty of flowers. In 1923, he developed the flower ceremony. He asked his congregants to bring a flower to church from their gardens, the field, or the roadside. He invited each person to place their flower in a vase. There was the church community, and here's ours, no less unique for being united. Following the service, each person could take a flower from the vase, a different one than they had brought. The flower ceremony became very popular, and Norbert's wife Maya brought it to the United States in 1940 to the Unitarian Church in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Norbert Chopek was a visionary minister with a church ahead of its time, a bold church, a church thinking beyond its doors, beyond what it thought possible. It was a church that was willing to take risks, to make tough decisions, to bear disappointment, and to build a new way. First by building a church, and then that church could build up the world. That is our church. That was Chopek's church. Sadly, because of his vision, the Gestapo arrested Norbert in 1942. The Nazis accused him of listening to foreign broadcasts and sent him to a concentration camp. Even in starvation and torture, he held the flower ceremony with his fellow prisoners, finding whatever flowers they could among the weeds of the camp. They testified to a beauty larger than themselves and a love that would outlive them. In late 1942, the Nazis killed Norbert Chopek, but his spirit, courage, and commitment live on today. Those qualities have passed to us to make them real. When we have our flower ceremony, it's not a historical reenactment of something over and done, but an affirmation of our continuity with the generations of struggle for ever-widening liberty. This flower ceremony, lovely though it is, isn't a diversion from ugly reality, but a gentle fierceness which proclaims that in the midst of sinister days, there is always the light of beauty. We are here not to recall something that happened, but to remember something that is happening, to remember, to put it back together again. And in that remembering, may we put ourselves back together again, each a part of the body of this community. Out of many, one. Today, we celebrate this ritual of solemnity and joy. We invite those here in person to come forward, and I suggest you come around to your right and take a flower, one that you didn't bring, and then return to your seats, perhaps going around to your left. And those on Zoom can visually share your flowers with each other. And Keith will play while we do this.
Good morning. I am Keith Prairie. This is a poem by Richard Gilbert for flowers. For the flowers have the gift of language. Speak, flowers, speak. Why do you say nothing? The flowers have the gift of language. In the meadow they speak of freedom, creating patterns wild and free as no gardener could match. In the forest they nestle, snug carpets under the roof of leaf and branch, making rugs of such softness. At end tip of branches they cling briefly before bursting into fruit sweet to taste. Flowers, can you not speak joy to our sadness and hope to our fear? Can you not say how it is with you? That your color, the darkest corner, the flower has the gift of language. At the occasion of birth, they are buds before bursting. At the ceremony of love, they unite two lovers in beauty. At the occasion of death, they remind us how lovely life is. Oh, would that you had a voice, silent messengers of hope. Would that you could tell us how you feel, arrayed in such beauty. The flowers have the gift of language. In the dark depths of a death camp, they speak the light of life. In the face of cruelty, they speak of courage. In the experience of ugliness, they bespeak persistence of beauty. Speak, messengers, speak, for we would hear your message. Speak, messengers, speak, for we need to hear what you would say. For the flowers have the gift of language. They transport the human voice on winds of beauty. They lift the melody of song to our ears. They paint through the eye and the hand of the artist. Their fragrance binds us to sweet-smelling earth. May the blessing of the flowers be upon you. May their beauty reckon to you each morning, and their loveliness lure you each day, and their tenderness caress you each night. May their delicate petals make you gentle, and their eyes make you aware. May their stems make you steady, and their reaching make you care.
And for all our joys and sorrows, let us take a moment of prayer. May we all be open to joy when it visits. May we all have the strength to endure pain when it visits. May we all have the wisdom to grow from both joy and sorrow. May we all experience and contribute to the nurturing support of this community. Blessed be. A Father's Day Prayer by Carol Allman Morton. On Father's Day, we honor those people who have been teachers, confidants, and friends. We acknowledge that it is not biology that makes a parent, but love and attention. For those of us that have lost a father or a child, we hold their memories in our hearts. For all of us who are fathers, we ask for continued help in discerning how best to care for our children, whether they are 5 or 50 years old. May the strands of relationship between ourselves and all of creation grow ever stronger. May all of us, no matter what our place in the cycle of life, experience nurture and love. And may we pass on that love to those we encounter on our own paths. So may it be. Amen.
My name is Erica Bartlett, and I wrote this poem about the summer solstice a few years ago. It is a day of change, the long axis of the earth turning away from the light in its perpetual dance. But I, in this moment, am still, breathing deeply of the warm, scented summer air, filling myself with light, like a chalice, until I glow. It is a moment of zenith, of completion, verging on the unknown of change. Tomorrow is a mystery, as darkness once again increases its hold. But on this day, I celebrate everything in my life that has achieved fullness. The joy of close friendships, the love of family, the flourishing green of new lettuce, the satisfaction of my own home, the pleasure in these words. I know it may not last, that life can flash and change in an instant, but what is important is this moment, now, the sun on my face and delight in my heart, full of wonder for all this glory.
This is Summer Solstice by Carrie Richards. This is when the whole world measured time. This is when the light would turn around. This is where the past would come undone, and the spinning earth will mark a new beginning. Let's go back in time to where it all began, to the breaking of new dawns, where moments bright with fire would light the chanting song, where pagans worshipped sun and danced among the trees, wore strange masks of covered straw, and blessed cold ash with awe. Wreaths hung upon the door against all spirits dire, and when the winter's grasp let go, the sun reversed the pyre. This is when the whole world measured time. This is when the light would turn around, so that spring arrives and seeds will sprout and grow. O radiant sun, stretch the day, shorten night, return earth's darkness into light. This is where the light will turn around. This is where the past has come undone. Each week, our staff and volunteers create meaningful spiritual experiences. We have a religious education programming, spiritual enrichment groups, and a variety of opportunities to create community. The funds we receive will support all that we do, and 1/3 will be shared with our Share the Plate recipient, the Presumpscot Regional Land Trust. There's a QR code on the back of the program if you want to donate electronically, or wait and the plates will be passed around. If you're online, you can go to our website and use the donate button and indicate it's for the Share the Plate. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received.
This poem, We Rose by Christina Kay, has been called one of the official poems of Juneteenth. We rose. From Africa's heart we rose. Already a people, our faces ebon, our bodies lean. We rose. Skills of art, life, beauty, and family, crushed by forces we knew nothing of. We rose. Survive we must. We did. We rose. We rose to be you. We rose to be me. Above everything expected, we rose. To become the knowledge we never knew, we rose. Dream we did. Act we must.
We'll now share some quotes related to Juneteenth. Juneteenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. It's a celebration of progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, change is possible, and there is still so much work to do. Barack Obama.
Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that freed self was another. Toni Morrison.
You must never, ever give out. We must keep the faith because we are one people. We are brothers and sisters. We all live in the same house, the American house. John Lewis.
What I love about Juneteenth is that even in that extended wait, we still found something to celebrate. Even though the story has never been tidy, and Black folks have had to march and fight for every inch of our freedom, our story is nonetheless one of progress. Michelle Obama.
You can't separate peace from freedom because no one can be at peace unless he has freedom. Malcolm X.
The American education system has taught us as children that Black people have history in pain and survival. They have failed to teach us our history in joy, success, innovations, and so much more. Juneteenth is a reclaim on our history that has been stolen. Juneteenth is greater to us than a 4th of July or Christmas because it represents our culture, resilience, and deserving respect from a country we built. Neil White.
Nobody's free until everybody's free. Fannie Lou Hamer.
The day we were free, everyone was free. Why not make it a paid holiday? We deserve that. We want a day that is inclusive to everyone. Pharrell Williams.
Women who fought and sacrificed so much for equality and liberty and just for all, including Black women who are often, too often, overlooked, but so often prove that they are the backbone of our democracy. Kamala Harris.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Martin Luther King, Jr.
No one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Nelson Mandela.
Juneteenth has become a newly but proudly embraced commemoration in my family, and we have been exploring the ways in which we want to experience and culturally embrace the date and beyond. Juneteenth is another moment for me and my loved ones to build an archive of truth and experience of ourselves, Black folks. Tatiana Glover.
I like the flowers. We'll be releasing the directions now and thanking them for their presence. Start in the north, spirit of north, element of earth. We thank you for your presence. Keep us grounded in your soil, and let us prosper with abundant harvest. West, water. Spirit of west, element of water. We thank you for your presence. Let us play and heal your element. Immerse us in your cooling waters. South, fire. Spirit of south, element of fire. We thank you for your presence. May you enhance our lives with joyful summer play. East, air. Spirit of east, element of air. We thank you for your presence. May you refresh our spirits with the scent of flowers. Please, once again, stand if you're willing and able. Join us in our closing hymn. It's number 73, Chant for the Seasons. We'll just be doing the one that says summer. And please note there's a refrain after the first line. I think I said that right. So if it was a different time, but it's not, we're grateful that we're here, present, and Zoom. So I'd like you to virtually hold hands or link arms, or maybe you can hold a person's hand who's sitting next to you as I read the closing words. So often words fail us, and one does not know to whom or what to pray. We ask for legs that can walk for peace, arms that may work for justice, voices that can speak with love, hands that can alleviate a fevered brow. By our actions and voices, our prayers are sent. May the love of the community go in our hearts and open our circle, although it remains intact. Merry meet, and merry part, and merry meet again. Shalom, salam, amen, and blessed be. And now we extinguish our chalice, but keep our fire of commitment and the spirit of gratitude.